Hey guys, this is a quickish video. I've been sent a game by Thin White Duke 85. This is actually two Chess Bootcamp Club members playing each other. And Paul Rees challenged the Duke to a 30-minute unrated, and we're going to go through it and see what we can see. So the Duke's description of the game was that it was an Italian and that he kind of dug deep and managed to find a winning tactic later on. So let's have a look and see what we can spot. So we have e4, e5, knight f3, and then knight c6, and then bishop's going to come out to c4 for the Italian game. Cool. Now knight to f6, which is like a fried liver invitation. Okay, it's known as the two knights defense. And are we going to have the knight coming in here? If so, I think d5 is the correct move. But no, we have the more quiet d3. And this is okay because the bishop's already come out of the pawn chain, that we can build this pawn chain here. Something more aggressive here would even be c3 preparing d4 as well. That's definitely an idea. But we have d3. And now the bishop comes out, so we have a pretty symmetrical position. All black needs to do is push d6, and we have a symmetrical position. Oh no, we don't, because black has a knight out in the board, excuse me. And now c3 comes, which is a little bit unusual. Because if white is now going to push d4 after pushing d3, it seems like maybe the waste of a move. Also, black has three pieces now on this square. So, but apart from anything else, it does allow the queen out into the board, and it also takes this square away from the knight, which might be white's idea. Black castles, white castles, and now we have d5. So we are looking now quite similar. Difference being we have c3 on white side of the board and knight c3 on black's. So black, you might argue, has a small lead in development. This is really something I'm looking at this week, is the importance of development. And I know we go on about it a lot, but it is very easy to get distracted by shiny tactics too early on in the game and forget not only to develop your pieces, but to make moves that will facilitate the development of your pieces. Okay, so now, a4. So the first thing I notice here is that it undefends this square. Right? Now we have queen and the bishop there, but a pawn attack down the opposite side from where the king is unusual, particularly when you haven't completed development. So, okay, knight e8, like that. Knight pin. Bishop e6, so proposing a bishop trade, in which case rook can capture and defend the knight, freeing the queen up. And that's exactly what we have. Oh! Now I get it. Didn't see that at all. Okay, he's preparing a bishop trap. Okay, so the bishop sacrifices itself on f2 and rook recaptures. Okay, so now Paul is up a bishop for a pawn. Okay, now how are we going to rescue this? Okay, there's one attacker on there, and technically only one defender because the knight can't capture because it's pinned. So if the knight were to recapture, the queen would fall, you see. So, okay, pushing the pawn in the middle. Nice and aggressive. Takes. And now the queen gets out of the pin. That is defended once. I would like to see a rook come to d8. Okay. Knight is going to come maybe around here, actually. Yes, good call. Good call. Oh, bishop takes, and then rook takes, yeah? Now, okay. So, are we afraid of this knight if we're white? Not, I don't know, there, hits the rook. But the problem is that this knight is holding this rook in. This rook would love to come here. And right now it can't, but now it can, you see? So, rook g6 looks good, or even bring the knight round first to here, something like that. Queen can come in. I don't know about that kind of positionally. Okay, well, we dropped a pawn. And now the queen's under attack, and so is the rook. So the queen needs to defend the rook. Otherwise, if the queen moves somewhere else and rook takes, we're going to lose an important pawn there. Okay, so counter-attacking the knight. Good to see. And we recapture with the queen. Right, so we are a full knight down. 6 pawns, 6 pawns. And the board is pretty open as well. So, reading the board, first thing that jumps to mind for me, rook d8. Really important. Pin the knight, but more than that, occupy the open file. Okay. Now, white has an immediate problem, which is that his knight is under attack. So he defends, okay. Now, if this knight can then be deflected away, so you see there. Yeah. Now this move isn't possible, but it will be if this knight were to move. But it's going to struggle because there it can get swapped off. Okay, goes there and gets swapped off. And queen takes, all right. Okay, now, as black, we've got very neat pawns, but they are a long way back, right? They're still in their starting positions. White has more of an issue because he's got 3 pawns on the queen side against black's 3. 2 pawns around the king, and then this singleton here. So that would be a target, and the queen is now looking at that pawn. Obviously, rook here isn't playable because queen takes and it's checkmate. But maybe rook e8. Okay, queen there. Rook e8. Yep. Okay. So now we are threatening even rook takes is possible now. Yeah. Attacking the queen. And the rook can't come to the aid of this pawn. The knight can. The knight can come around here and defend the pawn. But then black has f5, attacking the pinned piece. Oh, that's slightly weird. I see. Yeah, so now we can't take, because there, queen takes. If rook takes, rook down here is check. Rook has to come back, it's forced, and then rook takes rook and it's mate. Okay, alternatively, rook takes here. Again, it's check. Rook has to come back, and then queen takes, or rook takes and it's mate again. So we can't capture. I think f4, f5 here would have maybe been preferable, but there we go. It's taking, kind of guarding that square from the knight. Bit on the slow side. Okay. Now the queen is defended by the rook. She was undefended there. She's defended there. And is the queen thinking about coming into here? Because rook can't take. Well, he can. Yes, rook can take. Then we trade a rook for a queen and win because the king has an escape. Okay, check. Nice. Take the initiative. One attacker on here. Queen blocks. What? The queen's pinned. Yeah. Oh, nice one. Queen's pinned. So here, the thing about blocking a check is that you are pinning your own piece. Okay, that's the way it works. And if the piece that is pinned can be attacked, don't do it. Right? See, white had options here. White could very easily have just sidestepped and gone in the corner, right? And maintained the threats that he's got, you know, this dominant open file here. But by blocking the check, you have put this piece in an absolute pin, which means that this piece cannot legally move. Even if it's to give checkmate, you can't do it, right? So now, beautiful, well spotted by the Duke there, queen cannot move. So what do? Queen trades off, but now, very important. Now, a lot of people would immediately snatch the queen back because you always capture a queen, right? No, because here is a very important in-between move, okay? Snatching the queen back would be losing, right, with either of these pawns because rook takes rook, king has to move, and white has a rook and a knight, easy win. Okay. However, rook takes rook first, and notice the queen can't block. Queen can't come to either of these squares, so the king is going to have to move, or the knight blocks, but if the knight blocks, the knight falls. In fact, knight blocks might not have been the end of the world. Knight blocks rook there, here, and then if the queen is captured, the king gets the rook. That might even have been an idea. Because as things stand, if the king just moves, we lose the queen, and we're going to be a knight to a rook down in the endgame. Interesting one. Okay, but king moves. Now we get the queen. Cool. And king comes after the rook. We're having none of it. And this is going to be a relatively straightforward victory here. My first thought would be to get the king somewhere around here. You know, we should be okay with pawns here. The thing is, you can wait for these pawns. You can just wait until that pawn wants to advance, you snatch it off. This pawn advances, you snatch it off, right? These pawns have these guys covered. So we don't need to worry about those pawns. This is the more dangerous pawn. So I think I would like to get my king onto the e-file pretty swiftly. But we have a6 and, and a5. Okay. Again, it's another piece. I really want to see this king coming in to the centre, but it's attacking an undefended pawn. Now we've got rook e2, which is a fork on the knight and the pawn. Okay, but a4. King comes up, and now rook e2. You spotted it, well done. And now you can win the pawn. Oh, win that one. Yes, nice. Okay. And pushing pawns, good. And off goes Andy. King has to do something about it, but in the process abandons the defense of the knight. So a better move here would have been maybe this, because that covers 2 squares. Yeah. But then I think the rook could have come onto the second rank. But we have here, and then rook takes knight and wins. So very nice. Very nice spotting that the... So this is something that we all need to be careful of, right? Which is this move, okay? This move, self-pinning the queen, right? Generally not advisable. If you've got because that means this queen is immobile, and this queen cannot take any part in the game, right? She can't move. So black can come up and, you know, poke her in the eye. She can't do anything. She cannot react. She cannot play any part in this chess game. And white here really is a dominant position. And this is just a blunder, really, to pin your own piece and on a square where it can be attacked. So really, really good lesson there. So I think that would have been far better. Yeah, good lesson. Burn that one into your brain. Thanks, Duke, for sending that one in. Good game. I think it'll be very useful for a lot of people. And I've got to go because in 20 minutes, we've got the next Chess Bootcamp Club fight night. What kind of fight day this one? Because it's starting at 10:30 in the morning my time. And I've got a new co-commentator for this one. But look out for it. It'll be a couple of hours long. 15:10, unrated, rapid. Okay. Thanks, guys. See you later.